everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Christine and I'm here to do my weekly wrap up. I finished 6 books this week, which is pretty good considering Saturday was a family get together and Sunday was my son's 16th birthday. And then yesterday it was just too dark and, headache and stuff like that. And then tomorrow I have an appointment with my mom, or I have to bring her to an appointment. And it's also the 16th anniversary of my dad's passing. So, yeah, it's been a busy couple of days, it will be. But after then, I have orders to do of usual. So, this week, I'm hoping to do the same because the one book that has been driving me nuts and taking so long to read has finally been done. Oh, and there's Pebbles. So the first book I finished is The Cave Dreamers by Jean Williams. And Pebbles is in their mood. So this one is, did I drop it down to a 3? It was quickly going to be a 4. But the last 2 stories knocked it down quite a bit. I don't think you guys have seen her very much lately, but she wants to be here. Hey? Oh. There we go. This is Pebbles. Go find Zeus. Sorry. So, the last 2 stories killed this book for me. It was so good for the first 4, because it's told in six parts. Each part is a different couple, and it shows how each woman has become a cave dreamer. It starts in prehistoric time and then goes to pretty much the 1980s. Yes, 1980s. So the 5th part, okay. A woman finds this cave in the prehistoric times and makes a wish that things were to come true and happen for her, and they do. So she calls it the Cave of Never-Ending Summer, or the Summer Cave, something like that. And the information gets passed down to the daughter of each woman, the oldest daughter, and it gets passed down through generations. So each woman, pretty much each story, shows how each of these women go into this cave, make their dream or wish, and, hopefully it happens. The 5th story starts, and her mother has passed, and her stepfather is trying to make a pass at her. And this happens, late 1800s. Early 1900s. So she leaves and goes to America. And then it all goes downhill from there. She meets a man who's married and cheats because he justifies it because his wife is disabled, and treats her, Dominica, like crap. Makes fun of her religion, makes fun of her culture, makes fun of her ethnicity. And everybody of her ethnicity around, he has a very low opinion of them. So that irked me. And then, so she leaves and marries somebody else, and things just go downhill from there. He comes back into her life, and it's not, what they had was not love. What she felt for him was not love. So then the 6th story, it's quite, the 5th story is quite long. The 6th story is grandchildren of the 5th story. And that wasn't love either. So the 5th and 6th stories, let's see, were quite the majority, and it took me a while to get through them, unfortunately. Okay, there's the book. This is the 5th and 6th story. This was the good part. This was the crap part. So it was really good up until then, and then it just all fell flat. Yeah, they're cheating, insulting, and psychological abuse with maybe a little bit like emotional is just not my cup of tea. I don't find that to be love. So this is not a romance for the majority of the book. So, unfortunately. Might knock it down to 2, but I mean the first 4 stories were good. So then once I finished that, then my reading just picked right back up. So I finished Bone Crossed by Patricia Briggs, and this is book 3 in the Mercy Thompson series. So this one, in the previous book, she pissed off one of the head vampires. In this book, she has to kind of stay away from that vampire, or else she might have her head severed. So, yeah, so this one was really good. Didn't see part of it coming, because there is a little bit of a mystery. Her friend from previous, like, college shows up and says she needs her help dealing with a ghost. And her husband doesn't believe their son's seeing this ghost. So she figures if she leaves town, the head vampire won't come to her because she's going into another head vampire's district. And so she can kind of hide out while she's doing this ghost hunting. And it all kind of spirals from there. I do like the romance between her and... I'm not going to say it because, you know, if you haven't read the first 2 books, then you won't know who I'm talking about. But I really do love this series, and I gave this a 4. I think. Yeah, a 4. Not sure why, but 4. Oh, and by the way, she's a shifter. She shifts into a coyotes. There's wolves, there's werewolves, there's ghosts, vampires, obviously. And they're not portrayed as nice vampires. So, there's that. Then I finished Mr. Right Next Door by Barbara Wallace. I don't know if it's a series, or if I think this is just a standalone. But this one was a 3 as well, I think. She's a workaholic who lives in this converted brownstone apartment. It's been converted into 4 apartments. And the apartment directly above her is by him, with him. And he's trying to restore it back to its original, the original way it was. And she's so entitled that she says, well, I'm trying to work. I need you to be quiet. And he's like, well, I'm trying to work, so too bad. I didn't like her too much. I liked him. But I didn't like her too much because she was entitled. She was very entitled. But she thought she had a right to be entitled because she brought herself up from poverty to be this, or she wasn't a lawyer, in the stock markets. And she is being pretty much used by her boss to be do all the work, and he gets the accolades, I guess. And she's trying to become managing director of this company. So she's bending over backwards to do everything for her boss. And she has no life. Also, she's 10 years older than him. And she makes it known to him that she doesn't want anything to do with him because she's 10 years old. And she's not a cougar. And he's like, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. So, yeah, the romance was just off. And then when she does have a good time with him, she still goes back to her workaholic ways, and he's a former workaholic, and you find out why he's a former workaholic as the story goes. And so he's trying to show her that life is not all about being her boss's gopher. She doesn't need to be on the clock 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 a year. She can have a life, and she's fighting that so badly. So I liked him. I didn't like her. So I gave it a 3. And then I finished Sneaky Pie for President by Rita Mae Brown and Sneaky Pie Brown. Now, I saw what was happening with the story and why it was the way it was. However, should not have been part of the Mrs. Murphy mysteries. This is supposedly written by Rita Mae Brown and Sneaky Pie Brown, which is a cat. Her cat. There's 2 characters, Pewter and T. Tucker, the corgi dog, from the Mrs. Murphy series. But there's also 2 animals, Sneaky Pie and Tally. In this book, it's another cat and another dog. And the owner is different, but they still live in the same area. What the author is doing is pretty much putting her life in this book with her animals, which are the same name as characters from the series. But she's really put her political beliefs in this book. And I gave it a 1. It should not have been part of the series. All it was, each chapter was a diatribe of her political views as animals speaking to other animals, and Sneaky Pie is trying to get the vote to be president. It was ridiculous. It was convoluted, and putting this in the middle of a well-established series was stupid. Because you get totally confused. If somebody just picked this up as part of the series and didn't realize what was happening, it would be so confusing. And it was it was also very insulting. The characters from the series were mean and vicious in this. And it was wrong. So I give it a 1. And you guys know I don't give 1s out very often. I gave it a 1. I'm still continuing with the series, but these one-offs, if you're reading the series and haven't read this one yet, don't even bother. Just pass it. It has nothing to do with the Mrs. Murphy series, so just go from the previous one to the next one and forget about this one. Then I read Project Runway Heiress by Heidi Betts. It's the first one in the Project Passion series. I'm actually going to keep this book because it has to do with design, Project Runway sort of deal. So she is perusing other designers, see what's coming up, and she finds that her designs have been stolen. And her designs have not been put out yet. She's a very small designer in New York. And this designer is based in England, but they're opening another office and manufacturing in Los Angeles. So her older sister is the handbag designer for the company, and her younger sister is a shoe designer for the company. So she decides to just take off. She left a note saying, "I'll be back. I'm fine though, but I'll be back. I'm not telling you where I am. Just know I'm fine." And she heads off to Los Angeles because she found out while she's perusing their website that, I just got another order, that he needs a personal assistant. The CEO of the company needs a personal assistant. So she decides to become that personal assistant and try and find out where her designs are going. The only thing I didn't like about this book is it doesn't really show her investigating. Like, it does a little bit, very minor, trying to figure out where her designs were being stolen from and how they got into his company. Sorry. So, you pretty much know who stole them as soon as this one character is introduced. Why she didn't clue in, who knows. But she's afraid that once she meets this character, that her cover will be blown. And so she's really trying, like she's changed her hair color. Her designs are more flamboyant. This company is more office, muted designs. And there go the cats. And so she tones down her dress to try and infiltrate this company. I gave it a 4. It was really good. Like I said, I wanted to see a little bit more of her investigating, but however, it was also left open-ended. There isn't a second book. I don't know if there's it doesn't say anything about a third book, but the second book is about her sister Juliet. And so you kind of don't know what happens to the person who stole her designs. So yeah, I'm hoping it's completed, or it all comes to light in the second book, or because this one was written in 2013, and I think the other one was probably soon afterwards, so doesn't look like there's a third book. So I don't know what happens to her other sister Zoe, or if she's ever getting a book or what. Yeah, so I'm definitely keeping this one because it has to do with sewing, and since I sew, it's one of my faves. And then the last book I finished was The Fourth Child by C.J. Carmichael. So she gets off the phone finding out that she's pregnant. And her husband walks in and tells her that he's in love with somebody else, and then goes to the office. So she doesn't even have a chance to tell him that she's pregnant with her fourth child, or their fourth child. And so, yeah. This is pretty much the story of them dealing with the fact that he only cheated. I'm not saying he only cheated. He got close to a co-worker, and at first she was going through a divorce, and then they got closer and closer, working together, and it got like an emotional attachment and kissing. That's as far as it got, because then he had to step back and realize, I'm married, and I don't know how far I want to take the office relationship, because he still wants to stay married to her. So it's their story dealing with his cheating, and it's her insecurities about maybe reconciling. And it takes place in Canada. It starts off in Toronto, but it takes place over the summer at Lake Rosso, just outside of Port Carling, Ontario. And I haven't been to Port Carling, but I have been to Bala. And Bala is a beautiful area. It's in the Muskokas. It's cottage country. But it is such a beautiful area down there. So I like seeing that. And I've been to other, like, they're kind of mentioning other spots in Toronto and that. And I'm like, yeah, I recognize that. So it was nice to see that. And their 10-year-old daughter, I didn't like her too much. She has been struggling in school. Something happened with her friend at Christmas time, and this is now summer. She's very belligerent. She's not talking to anybody. Her school grades have gone straight down the toilet, from straight A's down to like C's and D's. Nobody knows why. She's very nasty to people. She's complaining that her mom is not spending enough time with her dad when he's up at the cottage and not working, and meanwhile she's sitting off to the side, not talking to anybody. And I didn't like her. But, you know, it's kind of the whole family dynamic. They are seeing a counselor, and you don't get too much of the counselor in here. It's just pretty much the story of them circumnavigating this cheating episode. So I gave it a 4. I liked it. That's what I finished. So the first book I'm not actually currently reading anything. I did not pick up anything yesterday. I just kind of vegged. And I did some work on the computer and, I had a day off. So I'm going to be picking up Louise Penny's A Fatal Grace. It's book 2 in the Armand Gamache series that takes place in Three Pines, Quebec. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been waiting for this book for quite a while, like months. I've been on the list for it. So there's that one. And then I have renewed this so many times that it's now on its way out. So I want to get to it. It's In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park. It's about a girl who gets out of North Korea. She escapes, but from what I understand, it's a very harrowing escape. And some nasty things happen to her, unfortunately. So we shall see. So I'm looking forward to this one. And then those two are definitely this week. I'd also like maybe to start Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. I'm kind of in the mood for something dark. Dark Places. Like dark psychological sort of deal. Because after all the nice, well, I wouldn't say cheating's nice, but the romance. It's time for something dark. And speaking of romance, some nice and light and fluffy ones. I'm going to probably read, because there's 12 stories in here, maybe 3 a week for the month. Summer Days and Summer Nights, edited by Stephanie Perkins. And there's like Lee Bardugo, Francesca Leah Block, Libba Bray, Cassandra Clare, Brandy Colbert, Tim Federley, Lev Grossman, Nina LaCour, Stephanie Perkins, Veronica Roth, John Scalveron, and Jennifer E. Smith. I've read a couple of these authors, so I'm looking forward to, I like anthologies. I like short stories, as long as there's a point to them. One of the ones that I read not last year, 2 years ago, they were just so open-ended that you have no idea what the purpose was. Hi, Pipples. So I like, stories with a point. And then, I don't know if you can hear her purring, but she's rubbing. And then I'm also wanting to do something quick and easy and quick. Quick and easy and quick. Quick and easy. Treasure Hunters, Peril at the Top of the World by James Patterson. It's book 4 in the Treasure Hunter series. And it's a bunch of kids looking for treasure. It's fun. It's cute. It's quick. Yeah. So I'm going to try and pick that one up this week. So that is it. Yeah, the Cave Dreamers really slowed my reading down, unfortunately. Like I said, it was really good until those last 2, and then it just dragged. So hopefully my reading is back up to snuff again. I don't know if you can hear it purring, but this is the youngest. She's 4. And ever since she got fixed, she's been super affectionate. So that's it for this week. I do have other videos in mind. It's just trying to get time to film them. My son will be going away for work tomorrow till Friday. So hopefully I can get some filming done then. Because I still want to do, the books that I've never surprisingly read. And there was another one that I had in mind. Anyways, let me know what you guys have been reading, if you've read any of these, how you like them. And yeah, so I hope everybody has an awesome week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.